Hey, welcome to Gemini Star Spiritual Wellness. Thank you for joining me today. I'm excited that you're here with me for this video. So today's video, we're doing the weekly reading for all the air signs. That would be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius for the week of October 26th through November 1st of 2025. So let's see what's going on this upcoming week for all the air signs. And happy November coming in. Happy Halloween. Happy November. So it's like, wow, it's hard to believe it's November already. So let's see what's going on. And thank you to all the new subscribers and the subscribers that have been with me since the beginning. I appreciate all of you. And I am trying to grow my channel, so please hit that like button so that other air signs will see this information that need to see it. And hit subscribe if you haven't already, because that way you'll see new videos I put out. I do the weekly element readings. They come out every Friday for the upcoming week. And as always, please take what resonates, and then if it doesn't resonate, leave it behind. Parts or maybe all of this will resonate with you. It just depends because everyone's in a different place with the energy. So, see what's going on this week for all the air signs. What is the energy of the air signs for the week of October 26th through November 1st? Energy for the air signs. I feel like lots of energy this week for air signs. The cards are jumping out of my hands. When I did the collective last Saturday reading for this week, it was for this week, last week, it was intense like that. All right, so we've got the Two of Pentacles. We got the Temperance, Judgment, World. Okay, wow, okay. Strength, Nine of Pentacles, and the Hermit. So we've got, out of this small spread, and this is not a big spread, but out of this spread, we've got 5 major arcana. So that's a big deal because major arcana is big energy. So it looks like the week of the 26th through November 1st is going to be pretty intense. And that's interesting because the cards were jumping out of my hand when I was, shuffling for the air signs. So pretty intense. And I also want to apologize. My face looks like it's glowing because of the way the sun's coming in through the windows. If you can see behind me, I've got these big windows here at my house, and just the way the sun's coming in, it's making my face, really really glow there. So that's what's going on with the lighting. And I have to mess with the lighting because of the windows. Sometimes it messes up the lighting. So let's get into the reading. So coming into the week of the 26th air signs, there's definitely some big stuff that's been happening for us, big things brewing. Something big is going on. And I feel like I'm hearing that some of us know about it and some not. So you might be in the energy where you know what this big stuff happening is going on, and some of us might not know that. Or not know it yet. But something big is happening. And it's like things are going to shift for us like a snap. So it's going to happen like boom, real fast. So something big's been brewing in the past, and I feel like I'm hearing it's been brewing for a while behind the scenes, and we just haven't seen it. And then it says then it's going to come out soon into the forefront where we see it, into our conscious awareness, and it's going to be like real fast, like snap. Things are going to snap real quick. And I feel like we've been in, and I know me personally because I'm an air sign, and this definitely is my situation right here. So we've been like in this in between time where we're kind of like juggling between things in our life. We're kind of maybe leaving one thing that no longer is in alignment with us, but we haven't quite started the new, like really haven't quite. So we're kind of like in between leaving the old and going into the new. And just like he's juggling these little, pentacles in his hand, I feel like, that's kind of how we've been. We've been kind of juggling we're in that process, and it's an awkward time. It feels awkward, when you're kind of like leaving something behind, starting something new. There's kind of that void in between where it's a very awkward, in between feeling. And that's what we're in coming into the week of the 26th, air signs. That's how we've been feeling. But I feel like, even though it feels awkward that way in the current energy, but I feel like we have definitely everything's in divine timing. And remember, I talked about something big's happening for us in the past that we don't see yet. Some of us might see it now, some of us might not, but it's going to make things, but what's been brewing in the past is going to make things change on a snap, and it's divinely guided. So it's all in divine timing. So even though it might be frustrating when you're in this in-between energy and it feels awkward and you might feel kind of stuck in one place right now because you're in that in-between time, it's like everything's happening for a reason, and it's happening for divine timing. And I'm hearing it's happening to tie up loose ends and to it's like we have to leave the old part, whatever we're leaving, we have to leave it fully behind before we can start into the new. That's what I'm hearing. And then I'm seeing like literally a rope tying into a knot. So it's like we're tying up loose ends. We're finishing up the old thing that we're leaving behind, and we have to fully get out of that energy of what we're leaving behind. We have to fully tie up any loose ends about it, any things that we need to do, paperwork and stuff like that. We need to take care of all that and fully get out of that energy before we can go into the new thing. And that's why this in between time's happening. It's happening on purpose to kind of clean things up from the past. And and the divine wants us to know that that's what's going on. It's like it might be frustrating, but it's like it's happening for a reason, this in between time, to help us get ready for the new and clean up the stuff from the old. Because we have to leave that old energy behind, is what I'm hearing. So we definitely, and we also have help, from, angels, archangels, our spirit guides, high dimensional beings, the divine, high dimensional beings, benevolent beings, space races, space boys. So we're having in galactics, I mean, like when I say that, so we're having help from all of them. So they're all part of the divine, divine's helping us through them, and helping us to have guidance. And it's all happening in divine timing. So even though during this in between time, if we might feel kind of alone and it's kind of like stagnant and we feel like we're on our own, we're really not, because we have a team of helpers that is there help guiding us. But everything's happening in divine timing. So when we clean up everything sufficiently from the past with the energy, that's when we will shift into the new. And that's the atmosphere we're in with the world card. We're shifting, it's kind of like we're going through a gateway. We're leaving that old phase behind and moving into a new phase. But we have to fully get out of that energy of the old before we can go into the new. And that's what the in between is. But we are definitely shifting, and we're definitely going into a new phase, into a new cycle. And that's really exciting. So we're leaving the old behind, going into the new. And it's for our best interest. And this has been brewing for a while, behind the scenes, but it's going to happen, even though it might feel like, we've been stagnant for a while maybe, and it feels like nothing's moving. Things have been going on behind the scenes leading up to this current energy that we don't know about. So things have been getting in place, and that's where the divine's coming in. And things have been falling into place like they're meant to, but it's like we just don't see it because it's been happening behind the scenes out of our conscious awareness. But in the current energy, this is all current right here. These are some big cards here, especially with these two. Currently we may feel like this, but there's big stuff going on here, and it's going to come in. We're getting ready to shift into that new cycle, that go through that gateway into that new phase. But I feel like it's going to happen really fast. It's going to be like nothing's happened. It's going to feel like, I guess I should say, air signs, it's going to feel like nothing's happening. And all of a sudden, bam, everything happens at one time. And in the near future, it's kind of like we're getting our reward. we're going to need strength moving forward, but because we're going into that new cycle. So I'm hearing that there might be, I'm seeing like someone being nervous, like they're kind of like nervous they're nervous to take a step forward. It's kind of like that excited, nervous feeling. You're excited about it, but you're nervous at the same time. And I see someone who's walking forward, but they're like taking one step at a time, but they're kind of doing it real cautiously and a little nervous. And I'm feeling that energy of like nervous excitement. But but I feel like we have been strong for a long time as we've been going through that old cycle, and we've learned a lot and we've grown. And so the universe is like, okay, it's time now for these good things to come in for you. Divine is helping with this divine timing. It's time now for this new cycle to start for us and to leave that old stuff behind. But it's like we're going to see the blessings of all our hard work in the past, all the lessons we've had to learn, all the things we went through in the past. It's like now we're going to get the benefits of it, or the blessings. We're going to get blessings and the benefits. Like we're going to see this new phase we're going into, this new cycle. It's going to be so much lighter than where we've come from, because we've learned and worked on ourselves and did what we needed to do, learned our lessons. So it's kind of like the universe is giving us blessings and rewarding us. That's the word I'm trying to think. Rewarding us for all the hard work that we've done on ourselves and all the growth that we've had on a spiritual level. But it's all happening in divine timing. So this is coming in. It hasn't happened yet. That's in the near future, because, remember, we're still kind of back in this energy, in between, getting ready to go through the gateway, divine timing. So we're still kind of in that in between period, but I don't think that's going to last long. And before you know it, the near future, like I said, I keep feeling like things, I'm seeing like a snap. I'm hearing a snap. It's like going to happen real fast. All of a sudden, like boom, all these blessings come in. Boom, all this stuff happens that pushes us out of that in between energy. But it's definitely going to be like the reward, like the universe, the divine's rewarding us for all the effort we put in. And this change this is the advice cards for us air signs. This change is going to put us in a much more independent mindset, but also in abundance. Because you see, this is the 9 of Pentacles, and she's got her little pentacles here, and she's a very abundant. Let me get it closer because the sun, the way the lighting is, so you can see it. She's got her little pet here, and she's happy and she's abundant and she can take care of herself. So this change, this new cycle coming in, is going to help us to be in a much more abundant place, not just financially, but like we're going to be more sovereign and independent in our thoughts, in how we run our life and what we think and how we feel about ourselves. So we're got a much more independent place mentally, and sovereign, and understand our sovereignty mentally. But we're also going to be more abundant, in a tangible way as well. So it's going to be both, so it's going to help us, and that abundance is going to help us be more independent, but it's also going to be mental abundance, like mental, and feeling more independent mentally. And the tangible abundance might help with that, like financial abundance might help with that to happen, where you can be more independent because you have more abundance, financial abundance. But it's also going to be a mindset. It's going to help us be more independent in our mindset, and we're going to understand more about how we're sovereign, how we're a sovereign being. And then also we're going to be, and I think, like, the advice also is, the Hermit. So we're going through that gateway into that new phase, but we're going to be, it's not, and I'm not feeling so much like there is going to be a lot of inner, how can I say it, inner, like, thinking about, stuff on the inner level. But I don't really feel like we're going to be so much as a hermit staying away from people and antisocial. I don't think I'm feeling it in this situation. It's more like we are going to be doing a lot of introspection. That's the word I'm thinking of. Introspection, and following our following the divine light, following our intuition, and let the light guide us, so to speak. So we're going to be tapping into that divine light, tapping into our intuition and following what our intuition's telling us. But in the meantime, we're doing a lot of introspection. So I feel like these two go hand in hand in a sense of that new independent thought process, mental, and our and that we're sovereign, that mindset. It's going to help us with this, being able to follow our intuition, but it's also going to help us to do a lot of introspection. So we've done a lot of introspection in the past already. That's why in the near future, we're going into this energy, and the universe is going to kind of reward us. We've done a lot of work already, but I feel like the way it's like our mindset's going to change with this through this process of this, ending that cycle, beginning of the new one. And we're going to just have more introspection on ourselves moving forward. It's going to be like a new way of thinking about ourselves, is what I'm trying to say. New way of thinking. So pretty intense reading for the 26th through November 1st. So it looks like, it looks like good things are coming in for us air signs, and this is really exciting. But it also looks like, we're doing a lot. We've done a lot of inner work and a lot of things that we worked on, to the point is like we're going to have a whole different mindset with these two cards, moving forward because of everything we've worked on. So it's really exciting. So I hope you enjoyed the reading. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.